Swedish marine biologists Thomas Lundalf and Lisbeth Jonsson arrive early at their research boat. They're taking advantage of the longer, warmer Scandinavian summer days to sail off the Tisla Reef, an area just 1 hour from the coast, near the maritime border between Sweden and Norway. They are looking for Europe's secret underwater gardens, deep-water coral reefs. They use this remote-operated vehicle to take pictures of the reefs. And this is what they find: the largest onshore deep-water coral reefs discovered in Europe to date. The reef is around 1,200 meters long and some 200 meters wide. Unlike tropical corals, these deep-water corals grow below the reach of sunlight, where temperatures never go above 13 degrees Celsius. Much of its basic biology is still a mystery to scientists, whose priority is to chart the location, shape and dimensions of these reefs. This, Thomas Lundalf says, is the first step to understanding them better.
It's very important to have precise maps of where they occur if you should have any chance of protecting them. Then you can tell fishermen where not to use gear that drags along the bottom. In Norway, for example, there is a general law forbidding trawling in all known coral areas. That, of course, is only effective if you have very precise maps where the corals occur. It's only over the last few years that we started to get these maps.
So far, deep-water corals have been identified throughout European waters, but their exact location, morphology and basic biology are still largely unknown. What scientists have identified is the coral's worst enemy, trawling. This is a trawled coral reef at around 120 meters depth. In just seconds, trawling nets can destroy enormous compounds of corals that need thousands of years to grow. Other threats include sedimentation, water pollution and global warming. European scientists are studying these creatures' biological makeup through the Hermes project. This will advise authorities on how to protect reefs that are vital to entire marine ecosystems.
And we found more than 1,300 species associating with Lophelia petusa. And so far we haven't had the possibility to investigate properly all the different groups of animals still. So we will find a lot more species, we think.
Video footage, pictures and living examples are then analysed in this red building, the Giano Marine Biological Laboratory. 3 years ago, scientists here began to use complex genetic techniques to understand more about how deep-water corals reproduce. Initial conclusions are just beginning to emerge, says molecular biologist Carl Andre, research coordinator.
Genetic analysis of Lophelia has shown us that they reproduce both sexually and clonally. And the degree of clonality varies between different reefs. We have also seen that individuals on nearby reefs are more related to each other. So that implies that dispersal between reefs are more likely if the reefs are close to each other.
Deep-water coral research is so specialised and expensive that pan-European cooperation is vital. Here in Oban, West Scotland, a research boat from a Dutch marine institute arrives after 15 days studying coral reefs off the British coast. On board are 15 biologists from 6 different European countries and an American researcher. They've studied the Rockall Bank, a coral-rich subaquatic mountain chain. Scientists mapped and analysed the area to understand how different they are from their better-known cousins, tropical corals. German researcher Conny Meyer was one of those scientists.
Tropical reefs contain seaweed, which photosynthesizes. This means they use light to create energy and provide nutrition to the coral. Since there's no light at these depths, we want to know if something replaces this process. That could be bacteria in the coral tissue, which use nutritional sources in the water.
Dutch researcher Gerard Duinevelt is leader of the expedition. He uses sophisticated onboard equipment to study corals. This analyzes biological patterns in deep water. Robots equipped with lasers and video cameras record and measure seabed plants and animals. The equipment has proven useful. It comes up with these interactive maps of underwater currents in the area. They help scientists understand how corals feed, grow and colonize.
And here you see by periods of 2 hours, you see the currents changing in direction and magnitude. And what we hope to find is, hope to see is by this, is some relationship in a very rough sense between the current regimes on top of the mount and that along the mount, because that is decisive for the way food can be transported to the corals that grow on top.
The research vessel also provides new living specimen for lab researchers to examine. Living corals are very sensitive to light and temperature changes, so they must be moved quickly and carefully. These two British marine biologists are taking the animals to the SAMS laboratories. The Scottish Association for Marine Science has been studying corals for almost a decade. Their research focuses on different aspects of the animal's taxonomy, including breathing and feeding. SAMS scientist J. Murray Roberts has been studying deepwater corals since 1997. Back then they knew very little about the animal's feeding patterns. Now a clearer picture is beginning to emerge.
It seems from new work able to feed on quite a mixed diet, so they can take animal remains, they can take some live animal some plant remains as well, and they have a kind of omnivorous diet, some of these animals, and it's possible they can absorb organic material from the water as well, so they're able to grow in areas of good high productivity, but also where that material is taken down to the reef efficiently by the local currents.
Deepwater corals only grow between 4 and 25 millimeters per year. Given the many threats surrounding them, European scientists think more research is essential if future generations are to admire the beauty of these hidden worlds.